This is the digital prisoner. I have broken out and I am coming to you from Washington, D.C. to let you know about all that's going on here. And as usual, if you are caught, you will be disavowed. And at the end of this recording, your computer will self-destruct. So let's get to it. Government. What is it good for? Absolutely no. No. That's war. What is it? Anyway, okay. So, what do you think the government formed? And here's a few pictures. Was it something of the people? Was it for healthcare? Was it for military actions and against its citizens? Was it for presidents kissing babies? Or scaring them? Or for the government to take our money? Uh, you can see here in this political cartoon where he's giving us some crumbs, but he's lifting our wallet. So let's see why government actually formed. Before we know how it formed, let's find out what it is. Government is an institution created by a group or collection of people in order to create a society bound by specific rules and regulations. Why did they do this? Why did they want to make a society that was bound by specific rules and regulations? Well, these are the things that come to mind and are given to us from our forefathers for protection, for order, for conflict resolution, economic stability, and public services. So protection. Early on, governments formed, and we're talking about way early on in ancient societies, okay, formed back in Mesopotamia and Egypt and so forth. They formed in order to protect from animals, from nature, the rivers flooding, storms, the monsoons coming in, from the lions and the tigers and bears, oh my, and other tribes or people from invading them, so that they had a government and a way to defend themselves. Other tribes would be less likely to come in and invade them. And so what does the government protect us from today? We have the police that protect us from other citizens with crime and so forth. They help protect us from natural disasters. They help, the military helps with foreign invaders and so forth. Order. This is not what you do when you pull up to the drive-thru at Burger King. Order, this is talking about keeping things in order. Like you would alphabetize, it puts it in order. So it gives us order. Keeps things aligned and in straight. Okay, laws were originally known orally. Okay, laws were passed from people to people. They were told, and they weren't actually written down. In most early laws, there wasn't anywhere near as many laws as there were today. In the early times. And pretty much if you broke the law, you were either killed or put into slavery. I mean, it was simple as that. There was no prison to hold you in. It was either you went into slavery to pay off your debt or whatever it was that you did wrong, or you were killed. Occasionally you might lose a hand or an eye. It came along a fellow by the name of Hammurabi. Hammurabi's code wrote down the laws. It's the first written code, and it's from Babylonia. And Hammurabi had very severe punishments. If a boy should strike his father, his hand should be cut off. If a carpenter built a house and that house fell down and killed somebody, that carpenter should be put to death. Okay, so they were very strict. Now there were quite numerous. Hammurabi's code were quite numerous, and there were a lot of laws. But people could actually go and see these laws. And then it went on to the Romans, who had the 12 tables, which the laws were written out on these 12 bronze tables. So what are some of the laws that affect your life? I think we all have different laws that affect us, you know. There's some that affect all of us, you know, but if you don't drive, the speed limit doesn't affect you. If you do, it does. If, you know, don't have a job, then, you know, laws about taxes aren't affecting you. But uh, everybody shouldn't go murder. So that law is kind of affecting is keeping people from murdering you and you from murdering anybody else. So think about some of the ones that actually affect your life. Conflict resolution. This has taken a lot of forms over time. Okay, how to resolve conflict. You know, at points you had a king who sat there and he doled out justice. Other points you had juries, you know, set up who decided. So part of the government's responsibilities to keep peace among those within the societies. So if me and you disagree, well, who's going to decide who's right or who gets what? So have you ever been in need of conflict resolution? Have you ever needed to take something to the court or to a higher power? You know, maybe if you're watching this, you're in school and you disagreed with another student and you had to take it to a teacher. The teacher then provided conflict resolution. Or maybe, you know, you got into it and you needed mom to come along and say, no, 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 it's actually Janie's turn. Then your parents provided that conflict resolution. Okay? So conflict resolution can come from various places. Economic stability. It originally began dealing with food as a valuable commodity in a society. Okay, because you know, back in ancient times, food was very important. If you didn't have food, you couldn't live. That was your number one basic need, was having food. Okay, but this has changed over time. And as it's changed, it's led to a lot of various growths in the government determining economic stability. Sometimes there was government and it just kind of watched things and helped guide it a little bit. All the way to now, you have some governments that answer the four basic economic questions of what goods and services should be produced, how they should be produced, how much should be produced, and who gets them. And this is known as a command economy, which we'll study in our economics class, so you can go watch that video. And can you name some examples of this? One example of this would be over Cuba and in Russia, some of these command economies. Public services. This was originally granaries and other such services, because remember we talked about how important food was. Well, the town built this granary. You store your food in it. They gave you a rock with certain marks on it that said how much food you had inside of the granary, and then you could trade that rock or parts of that rock off for other services from other people. But you know, they provided these granaries. Now the government provides a wide variety of services. Now a lot of these came about, the ones that we have in our country today, came about from FDR and the New Deal. He greatly increased the amount of services that the government provides during this in order to try to pull the country out of the Great Depression. And then there's a lot of debate over if the government provides too much. So first, what are a few? You know, think of you know, well, there's food stamps, other welfare programs, there's housing programs, but then there's services, you know, the government provides for, you know, the handicapped, the disabled. So there's a lot of services. It provides things for the veterans. So now, where do you stand? Does the government offer too much, or does it not offer enough? And that's what a huge debate over this new welfare or new Medicare or Medicaid or healthcare laws. You know, should the government be providing healthcare for everybody? Because the government really doesn't do it. Other people do it because the money is being taken from other people. So the question is, Where are you in that? Are you a person who's receiving a lot of these benefits? Or are you a person who is paying a lot of your taxes to cover this and you're really not receiving much because you're paying your own? So there's a lot of debate over what is too much. And a lot of this, we get these purposes from the preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So all those things we talked about, do you see them listed here? So until next time, deuces!